What is going on, you guys? Welcome to day 3 of our manual swap on the Mark II. We're nearly there. The only things left, the manual transmission needs to be cleaned and put in the car. The pedals are already in, the shifter's in, the clutch kit is already on the engine. We got to put the transmission in, hook that up. I got to decide if I want to do the exhaust headers or not. They're already ready to go in the car. It's just simply getting back there to actually take it off. It's kind of a pain. It's almost like working under the dash. I just don't like doing, but got to decide on that. Hopefully, though, by the end of today, this is in. That may or may not be in, but I think we'll be done with the swap today. So I think first order of business for today, go through, clean up the transmission, and then I have in here the rest of all the new pieces that'll go to there. That one and the bushings for here, which these bushings still look pretty good, but I have new ones, so we'll replace them. So clean up, new pieces, and this will be ready to go in the car. So overall, the transmission cleaned up really well. I could have spent more time, but it's not that serious, and I think it came out pretty nice. Got just about all the surface dirt and stuff off. There's still some back there, but I can't quite get in there. Overall, came out pretty clean, and then all the new bushings up here and the new arms. So all that is done, and this is actually now ready to go in the car. All right, so the time is here. The transmission is about to go in the car. We've got a jack, we've got myself, and we're gonna make this work. Normally what I do, if it's just me and the engine is still in the car, I will set the transmission up on the jack. If you have a transmission jack, makes it much easier, but all I have is that, so we gotta make it work. We're gonna tilt the entire thing forward like this and get this back mount up and over that one, and then bring the front up. Hopefully, if not, I might need to pull both of these off and go up and attach this and then go back and put it on afterwards. We'll see. I'll try it first like this, which may work. If not, we'll pull both those off, and then we'll hopefully get her in here. Okay, actually I lied. On to pull this brace off and the mount back here off, just to give me that much more space, because the automatic transmission had all that bulky stuff over here that was just super in the way. So if I can remove all this and make my life much easier, since it's just me, we're gonna do so. So there's 2 17s here, 1 and 2 holding on this little brace right here, and then there's 1 2 3 13s that go through that hold on this rear mount, and that'll get everything out of the way and hopefully make our life much easier. That one's a different size. That one's a 16 for some reason. The last one. Always the last one. There we go. Voila. No more bracket. Now we have so much more room for activities. All right, that's it. This is as small as it's gonna get, which still, even this is so much smaller than this tank of a transmission. So can't complain there. It could be much easier to put in, but again, with these being out of the way, extra room is always good. Fingers crossed, without too much trouble, we can get it in there. You to move just a little bit more. Is that it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we in there. Woo! Oh yeah. Look at that. Transmission, meat engine. Look at that. She fought me a little bit for sure. I got kind of stuck on this over here and stuck on the flywheel, but I won. Yes. there it is. We officially have a manual transmission in the Mark II. Got a bunch of stuff to hook up, but we're almost there. So making good progress. The rear trans mount is now back in, along with the brakes and transmission to the back. That's all good to go. The front mount here was giving me quite a bit of trouble. I had the engine jacked up and tilted as far back as possible because there was not enough room to actually fit the mount in here. And even with this all the way back, I still couldn't get the mount in. So what I had to do is go under the car, loosen the rubber portion of the mount, tilt the mount forward, and now it actually dropped in. Now it's good, but it was just way too tight. So if you can't get the front mount in, if you're doing the same swap, loosen the bottom portion of your mount, adjust it forward, and then it should be good to go. So now that that's in place, finally we can do the starter, the rest of the bolts, and then at that point the transmission is fully mounted to the car, and then it's just cables and a bunch of the small stuff. So I went ahead and pulled out the two automatic throttle cables, which is this one and this one here. This shorter one is the manual cable. It looks like this is the one that connects to the throttle body with this little clip right here. If I can take this nut off, it looks like inside of there is the same as what this one is, which means if I take this off, take that rod out, hook this rod into there, that would allow this to connect to the throttle body, and I can use the manual cable, which going to there, then over to the pedal should be long enough, and I think that'll work. And I think I can mount this section back over in this bracket here, like so. I think that's how it's going in my head. I think it'll work. We shall see. It all depends if this nut comes off of here and I can swap this out, but I think it does. On our throttle cable, this is the factory one that pops onto the throttle body like so. This end piece does actually unscrew. If I could put this, if I had this around this one, then I could screw it into here and it work no problem, but that's not what I have. The other one, which is this one up here, the bottom side of the two throttle cables, this one I pulled it apart as well. I could route a zip tie, I guess, through this and attach it to there, and this cable is about the same length as the manual one. But again, I prefer to have it the right way, which this might be an option. We'll see. I don't think I can make this one work. There's not a proper way to attach it without like a bunch of zip ties and stuff, and to get it to work properly. It's just not quite right. The transmission itself, though, is fully bolted in. Front mounts in, starters in, clutch cables in. That's all good to go. The issue I'm having now is that over here, the axles are too small. The flange on this transmission is a 100mm flange. These axles look to be like 96 or 98mm. Either way, they're too small. So I don't know, I don't think I want to go down and pick up the axles today. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive that way and back. Maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow's also my birthday, so I kind of wanted to just chill. I wanted to drive this car tomorrow, but I don't think it's gonna happen unless I do like a late night run tonight there and back with axles. I have to figure out the throttle cable. And then after that, it's not too much stuff. This is the new manual speedo cable, and then this one is the one from the automatic transmission, which goes into a box over there and then through. So I have to pull that one out, try and see if the cluster will work. If the cluster doesn't work until the end of the world, the biggest thing is I need a throttle cable, and even better than that, I need axles to actually be able to move the car. But other than that, we're doing kind of okay. All the linkage is in, and it feels like I haven't adjusted yet, but I think I have majority of the gears. Like I can hear it clicking. What gear it's in, I have no idea, but that feels decent. The clutch pedal goes down and comes back up, so that's cool. So that's good. This is good. No gas pedal, no cluster, no axles. So we're kind of the way there. I didn't get a chance to do this because I don't think I want to. I mean, I do want to have it in the car, but I also just don't want to be back there. And if I wasn't to do it, I probably should have done it before the transmission was in, because now it's way tighter back there. It's just a pain having the exhaust below the intake manifold. You can't see anything, and all the bolts in the center, I have no clue where they're at. If I had a lift, it'd be a bit easier to stand with the car and work, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it today or anytime soon until I have like a lift to work with and be able to stand to the car and make my life much easier. But big concerns right now. I need axles, I need a throttle cable, I need a cluster. So it's only, what time is it now? Where's my phone? Currently it is 4:05. So it's like peak traffic time. Definitely don't want to be on I-4 right now, but maybe later tonight when everything chills out, I'll do a late night cruise down there. I can pull the axles, come back up, and have this done tomorrow. I mean, once I have axles, like, we're good. Like, I can figure out a throttle cable, make that work. Everything else is pretty much there. I just need axles to actually be able to move the car. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna get the fan trailer back in, try and button up everything else, get the auto speedo cable out, try and get the manual one at least ran through most of the way, and just get the car to a point where all I need left is axles. And then once I get those, we can hopefully pop those in, and then the car should be good. Also, someone said I need to loop the automatic connectors down there because the car won't start because it was automatic before. There's a button above the pedals under the dash, like a brake switch pedal, which when you push the brake down, it tells the car that it can turn on. But this car always turned on without me having to put my foot on the brake at all. So maybe mine was broken. I don't quite know. We'll have to see once I try and start the car. Ooh, another thing about starting the car. I don't have the plug-in for the starter, and I also don't have like a harness portion for the reverse switch here. So I don't know if I need, like I said, this is my first like just manual swap into a car. I've done like engine swaps and changed the whole harness out, but just swapping a manual into a car that was automatic, I haven't done before. So I'm not sure, thinking about it now, maybe I needed like a manual 1.8 harness to swap into the car. That way I have the actual reverse plug-in. I have the plug-in over here for the starter. That might work. I still have the ground cable to go over to here. I have the power cable to the starter. I have that kind of stuff, but the actual plug-in for the solenoid, I don't know if I have that or not, but we're close-ish. There's a handful of things that need to be buttoned up, but at least it's in there. The car at this point is a full manual car. We have pedals, we have a shifter, we have a transmission. It's a manual car. It just doesn't work yet, but we'll get it. The time is now 5:29. Essentially, the car is completely back together, minus the axles. Exhaust is back on, heat shield's back on. All this fan shroud's back in, everything pretty much plugged up. I got the manual cable ran through, not plugged into a clutcher yet, but it's just ran through. Clutch cable's in. The throttle cable, actually, I made it work. Not the prettiest thing I ever had to cut this still, but this is the original one that pops onto the top. This is the manual cable from the swap car, and I just simply zip tied the two together. I really wish I had a way to make this. If I could just get this around the cable, then I could just screw this into there and it would be perfect, but I don't have a way to do that. I thought about trying to cut a small line through this, spreading it around the cable and then screwing it in, but I feel like it might not work if I can't cut it thin enough. I don't know, I might still try that, but the easiest way was to simply just zip tie together, which now, so throttle cable works, clutch cable works, that's all good. This is all together. Still not sure how to plug in the starter solenoid yet. Reverse switch isn't the biggest deal, and then I just need axles, which I talked to Danny. He is home right now. I have to just decide if I want to drive an hour and a half there to get them and come back. But I do want to drive this car. Maybe not tonight, but I want the axles, so that might be the plan. I did think about trying to swap the flanges from the auto trans to the manual one, but I don't know if the inside of this bolted the same from this one to that one. I know on manual cars you can do it, but I don't think you can take an automatic flange and put it onto a manual one. Maybe. I'm gonna look it up and see, but the same thing, I don't have any new fluid for that one just yet, and if I pull this off, fluid's gonna go everywhere for the most part, so I might just leave this as one and just not worry about it and just go pick up the axles. I know they'll fit and they'll work, and it's what I need. But we're getting there. Very, very close. So now here we got gas pedal, works no problem, clutch pedal no problem, and brakes are just the brakes. So this is good, pedal set's good, we're close. We're close. I need axles and a way to put power to my starter, and then should be fine. So do I want to go for a drive tonight and get some axles? I kind of do. I probably should. Alright, look at my goodies. We now have the proper axles to fit into our flanges. I also grabbed the hood release cable, can't forget this, and the working door latch for the rear of the car. So a lot of goodies here. Oh, also, this is the plug-in that will go to the starter solenoid. I have to figure out a proper way to put power to it just for a second to turn it on, but I have this at least, so we'll get it figured out. But we have axles, which is one of the biggest things. are finally back home. I didn't plan on this being a 4-day endeavor, but things happen. In the grand scheme of things, there's really no rush to this project. I do want to drive it tomorrow because it's my birthday, but if not, it is what it is. But I think we got it. We have the axles now. I have the plug to go to the starter, and I can just jump the starter to start the car. That's not a big deal. The throttle cable's hooked up loosely, but it works enough. We won't have a gauge cluster just yet, but that's okay. As long as the car can move and drive, we're good. Like, that's what I want to do tomorrow, so fingers crossed. That's it. Again, this wasn't supposed to be a 4-day thing. You know what's funny? At one point, I said I was going to do this in 1 day. All of this in 1 day. I was on something that day. Tomorrow, I will toss in the axles, put the car on the ground, we'll align the shifter, and then we'll see what she does. I think we're good. I think we have all the pieces now to have it at least function. Again, no speedo just yet. That's okay. And we'll have to just jump the starter. That's okay. But as long as the car runs, shifts, drives, that kind of stuff, I'll be happy. So fingers crossed tomorrow's our final day. I think we got it, but we'll see. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.